Hello folks, I'm Law of the West, and in this video, I'm going to be going over all of the landing zones that you'll find on the planet Hurston, as well as describing the surrounding biomes that each one exists in. The 7 landing zones are Lorville, Stanhope, Au Pair, Pinewood, Edmund, Thetis, and Hadley. With the exception of Lorville, all of the landing zones will have an outpost located at the heart of it that consists of 2 large landing pads, a place to spawn vehicles at, and several buildings that you can explore. The real difference between them, and the thing that I'm mainly going to be focusing on, is the environment that surrounds them. Okay, so let's start with Lorville. This is the main landing zone that's found on Hurston. It's so big that its central building and bulk of the surrounding city can actually be seen from orbit as you descend down upon it from space. Lorville is located next to several biomes that are easily accessible immediately after having taken off from the Tessa spaceport. You can reach the waterfront if you face the main Hurston building, turn 90 degrees to your right, and go straight in that direction for a short period of time. Now, just for convenience sake, I am going to speed this footage up, but it still gives you a good idea just how close the waterfront biome is to the main Hurston building, and just how easy it is to get to it from there. If you continue on in this direction, then it won't be very long before you come across the savanna biome. Keep your eyes open for a stretch of green that'll appear in between the hills which are located to the right of the water. There's another unique site that can be easily reached from Lorville if you face the Hurston building, then turn around 180 degrees and start heading off in a straight line from that point. Start using your scanner once you're well outside of the city limits, and it won't be long before you come across a structure that's located off and to the left. Head towards it, and you'll find the same underground mining facility that was showcased in CitizenCon. Now, there are other structures just like this that are dotted throughout the landscape surrounding Lorville, and a lot of people have already found them. But this is by far the easiest one to get to, especially if this is your first time looking for it. The next 2 landing zones that I'm going to be looking at are the HMS Hadley and the HMS Pinewood, and I'm grouping them together because they have nearly identical outposts on them, and are both located within the same type of biome. Both LZs are surrounded by long flat mesas and an endless network of roads that serpentine all about the landscape. The entire area has been strip mined to the point where the land is now dominated by a series of holes that have the unnatural appearance of an inverted ziggurat to them. The mining process on Hurston is far from over, and in the future this area is going to come alive with the sounds of mining rigs, fully operational refineries, and industrial-sized land vehicles. They'll be traversing these roads in a never-ending display as new pits are perpetually being excavated, carted off, and turned into mountains of detritus. And this would be the perfect place to find missions that require a third party to transport excess amounts of excavated ore from and deliver to a local refinery, or a great place to launch contract mining runs from using one of their own prospectors. It would also be ideal for light combat missions where they'd need people to push back the growing Oni crab problem that seems to be plaguing the area. The next landing zone that I'm going to show you is the HMS Stanhope. It's located right by the water and provides a refreshingly serene stretch of land for you to drop down and pull a vehicle from. There are several other sites that already give a clear view of the polluted coast biome, which is what they're actually calling it. But unlike other shorelines, this one is relatively garbage-free and sits on a flat expanse that's surrounded by mountains on nearly every side. As far as waterside views go, this one is a bit more picturesque and a lot less touched by the same ravages of pollution that the other areas seem to be afflicted by. The surrounding land is marked by long expanses of dark scrub brush that blends in with the surrounding dirt. Various forms of cacti can be seen pocketed throughout the fields, acting as the last of the verdant foliage to survive in these areas, while the surrounding land, thanks to the encroaching pollution, is slowly being turned into the same desert environment that they had originated from. A vast ocean line stretches out from here for you to explore, and the adjoining body of water is as close as Hurston has to an ocean, making it a good place to fly over and enjoy the change in scenery. Especially if you're lucky enough to catch the sun as it's ascending, or as it drops down below the horizon line. The HMC Edmund landing zone has the appearance of an outpost that was built atop of a landfill that's slowly eroding its way back up to the surface. Pockets of stagnant water can be seen strewn about the surrounding area, riddled amongst the clumps of debris that are poking out from the muddy ground. The overall landscape has a forgotten, lonely feel to it, which makes one's skin crawl as your feet swash over and about the omnipresent litter that's found about the compound. Like Stanhope, this outpost is also located close to the water, closer in fact, but is bereft of the same quiet, serene feeling and untouched look that the Stanhope has. I'm including a look at the old version of Edmund here, not in an attempt to poke fun, but rather because, despite its half-finished appearance and obvious issues with how the player could move about and pull a ship, it still has some uniqueness and a quality that I hope they revisit and improve upon later on. Well, I'd rather enjoy seeing an outpost that was built right into the water, that's suspended by pontoons or struts, with its various structures connected by suspended walkways. The Thetis landing zone sits within the confines of the acidic biome, which appears as a large bright patch that can be seen from orbit. Once you recognize the look of it, you'll easily be able to locate other similar biomes without having to rely on this LZ marker as a guide to go by. This place represents the worst of the ravaged biomes, and provides an eerie window into what's in store for the planet's future. The surrounding expanse is a hellish landscape filled with pockets of incandescent yellow pools of acid. The feeling of decay is evident as you pass above it, and is not the kind of area you'd want to remain in for very long, not if you place any value on your ship or your life. The last of the LZs that I'm going to be looking at is the HMS Au Pair, which is the only one that's found within the Savanna biome and is one of the most interesting landing zones next to Lorville to go visit. It represents the last remaining evidence of Hurston's once verdant landscape. The pollen hangs so thickly in the air that on approach it could easily be mistaken for rain. This area is among one of the most fun to pull a Gravlev bike and go do some quality exploring from. Take your time, enjoy the scenery, and keep traveling until the sun goes down. The only thing that this biome is missing is the various forms of fauna that are soon to be added into the game. Each landing zone has its own kind of unique beauty despite the grotesque state that the planet has been kept in. Hopefully this video will act as an instructional guide to help you find a landing zone to go visit based on what you want to see and what you want to experience. That's going to be it for this video. Thanks for tuning in, take care, and I hope to see you back here again.